Hello, everybody. Welcome to the AV Geeks Lunchtime Streaming Show, where we watch old 16 millimeter films. And I'm getting a cold, so I am taking it easy today, but I'm still going to show you some films. I still feel good enough to do that. And I was going to look and see the year of that film. It was interesting. I didn't see vehicles, so that is usually a dead ringer. That's a way to figure out like what the year is based on the cars. But that one didn't. I didn't see vehicles. So let's take a look. There might be notes, metadata. Our good friend metadata. Let's see, 732. 1940s is what people are guessing. The people who scanned this film for the Prelinger archive. That's the guess. And so, yeah. Anyways, today's Veterans Day. Come on, America, support your veterans. Really, seriously, do the right thing. They did they sacrificed their lives, not in most cases, not literally, but they definitely let their normal lives go away so that they could fight. And so we should support them, especially those who are hungry, unhoused, need medical help, both physical and mental and emotional. Let's help them out. So we're showing films today that are about veterans, and I don't think I've shown any of these. Although this next film, I feel like I've shown, but the message is about the community chest, which if you've ever played Monopoly, you're like, what's a community chest? I don't know what that is. Well, community chest was a fund set up in communities to help support different organizations. So they were a nonprofit. And they eventually, many of them became United Ways. But this one is, I think, either red feather or blue feather. So here is 1 minute a day. Enjoy.
Hello, I'm Hal Burdick, your night editor. Now, that may be a fact of very little importance to you, but what I have to say is important. It concerns you and me and everyone in San Francisco. You know, life is getting pretty complicated. Each of us is so busy with his own affairs, raising a family, making a living, and keeping house, that sometimes we lose sight of what's going on right around us. Of course, we try to keep up with things through the newspapers, the radio, television, and so on, but what do you think about when you read something like this?
Wanna be where?
Parents, too.
So, well, maybe. And what about this?
Shameful.
Somebody ought to do something.
Somebody? Somebody, yes. But that somebody is you, I, each one of us. We ought to do something about a lot of the things that are wrong in our city. And we can through our community chest. Our community chest is the source of funds for a lot of the activity that makes San Francisco a better place to live. Because it is chest funds that get to the heart of the matter, helping each other. We can point with pride to all community chest youth services, boys clubs, neighborhood centers, the Ys and the Scouts. These boys may not look any different from the kids who get into trouble with the law, but the similarity ends right there. Children who learn how to share a can of paint or hammer and nails and brush are not the kids who destroy property. Instead of getting into street brawls, they have a chance to work off extra energy in sports that develop quick thinking and a sound body. As a citizen, I feel these are good things, worth paying for. Oh, I know about the membership fees in community chest youth organizations. $1 or $2 a year, perhaps. But it costs about $11 a year to maintain a boy in Scouts, for instance. There'd be a lot fewer Boy Scouts if community chest didn't foot most of the bill. Besides, these kids learn useful skills. Here, it's first aid. Bear in mind it costs almost $2,000 a year to take care of one delinquent boy. It costs only $16 yearly to keep a child in a boys' club. One way or another, we shall have to pay the bill. Which shall we choose? There's an old saying to remember: an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. Last year, your gifts made it possible for 77,000 boys and girls to belong to community chest youth organizations and neighborhood centers. Yes, your money goes a long way. It goes into emergency homes for children, into orphanages and foster placement. Wherever community chest services must stand in for Mom and Pop and become a place called home. In the community chest tradition of keeping families together, nursery schools play a big part. But whether care is just for a day or until a boy or girl is of age to care for himself, your dollars help put flesh on small bones and build strong young citizens. For every breakfast, dinner, or supper, there's careful planning for what a child needs. Careful planning. No waste, no frills, no extras. Yet, it does take money. Milk by the gallon, day after day, month after month. Clothing, warm sweaters, socks, and jeans, and shoes. They're mended often, but have to wear out for good sometime. Ordinary events for the average family must be done on a grand scale. Hundreds of children need periodic haircuts, and toothbrushes, and toothpaste, and soap, and the water bill. All these things your gift to the community chest will help pay for. You also supply that very essential ingredient, TLC, tender, loving care. Last year, you gave 795,000 days' worth of care for children who might otherwise have been lonely and neglected. The intangibles are important too, the worries that are relieved, the heartaches that are lessened. These are the jobs of family services that help parents and their children. Folks like Grandfather John need not be distressed by old age any longer. That is, not so long as Red Feather Services can help. Misery can strike deep, but even for those who have become the cast-offs of society, community chest services like the Salvation Army work miracles of rehabilitation. It's part of the Salvation Army creed to love the unlovable and to befriend those who have no friends. With your gifts, Community Chest was able to help 24,700 single individuals and families last year. Now, how about hospitals? Hospital and clinic care count high in sharing your contributions. Community Chest operates all but one of San Francisco's general clinics. Free or part-pay hospital care is offered in Children's, Mount Zion, Mary's Help, and many other hospitals. Some illnesses, like rheumatic fever, demand months of convalescence. Weak hearts need lots of rest. Accidents can happen to any one of us. Somehow, we always expect hospitals to be ready, when and if. Yet, hospitals cannot exist without equipment and personnel, all of which cost money. Hundreds of sheets, pillow slips, towels, and gowns must be laundered every single day. Another item on the community chest bill. Chalk up special drugs. As a matter of fact, they saved Mike's life. These days, fewer families can afford the expense of really long-term care. So you see how your gift must stretch to many different services. Over 380,000 days' worth of free and part-pay hospital and clinic care. This year, Community Chest has Korean War veterans to think about. The young men with old faces, amputees, the ill and convalescent are crowding the USO again. So are GIs on leave and those who are fighting overseas. United Defense Fund for USO and Korean Relief has added $332,000 to our 1951 Chest campaign goal. So it looks like we have a full chunk of responsibility. We can meet it in one simple gift. The gift of a minute a day. In the case of the working man or woman, that means 1 minute out of every day's paycheck. For the housewife, it means putting a cash value on a minute out of her busy day. Speaking of minutes, I'd like to have you meet the symbol of our conscience during the Chest drive. She's no bigger than a minute herself. The Minute Maid of 1951. Hello, honey. Tell me, do you know the golden rule?
Uh-huh. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I try to do that. Do you?
Well, what's your answer? Think it over, friends. Community Chest dollars mean happiness. The ease of pain, the care of a lonely child, multiplied by the 100. Your gifts remind the GI that he didn't lose that leg for a song. No, he lost it for you, and you care way down deep. A minute a day, that's all it takes. The minute you give can make all the difference in the world.
So I guess the Minute Maid versus the Minute Man. That's what she's kind of dressed up as, a colonial soldier. I don't know. There's some weird messaging there. But yeah, so these community chests were places that helped support people in need. And veterans were certainly, post-World War II and Korea, there was need. A lot of soldiers came back and they were damaged. They were damaged physically, damaged mentally, emotionally, and couldn't land right. And so this was a way to support them. And so this eventually morphed into United Way on a local and regional level. And, they mostly did good work. There's, of course, lots of finger pointing regarding how the funding is allocated in different local, regional, and national United Ways nowadays. But there's still some good that's done. I mean, boys' clubs are still good. Girls' clubs are still good. Or, just clubs made for kids for after-school programs. All of that is important. All right. So this next film I showed, I think, at another, 2021, I showed it, but I only had the version I had cut off. But this is called Unfinished Business, and this is a U.S. Steel film about how great they are to veterans. Enjoy.
How do you do? Week after week for the past few years, it's been my pleasure to report to you on the industrial family that serves the nation, United States Steel. Now I want you to have a look at the record. I want you to see what's happening. I want you to hear from the more than 280,000 workers in that industrial family. They're shattering production records in peacetime, just as they shattered production records in wartime. And they're mighty proud of the fact. Let's check with one of them. Oh, Jim. Robbins. You fellows are pretty proud of your production records, aren't you?
We sure are, Mr. Hicks. Of course, you know I wasn't here during the war.
I know. You did about a 4-year hitch, didn't you, Jim?
Air Force.
But your dad was here.
My dad's been here for 35 years. One of my uncles more than that. I've got relatives all over the place. Well, see you later.
Yes, relatives all over the place. While Jim was away, they supplied him from the home front, turning out steel for tanks instead of cars, for guns instead of refrigerators. All production was geared to winning the war. Back from defending America, Jim is again in the business of building America. A strong America so essential to world recovery. It's no small order. It requires new and better facilities for the new and better steels advanced by research and technology during the war. Long before the war's end, United States Steel was planning the reconversion to peacetime production. But let's go back and pick up Jim Robbins' story from the day he came home.
Mrs. Robbins.
Oh, Jim.
Good old Betsy. Don't tell me she still runs.
Well, she walks, but in a very dignified manner.
The old car, that was just one of the things we wanted to replace. We wanted new homes and new home appliances, new refrigerators, new washing machines, and new stoves. There were so many things we'd all been waiting for.
Hello, Dad.
Hello, son. It's been a long time.
Sure has. Where's Mom?
In the kitchen.
Remember me?
Your hands are filthy. Go upstairs and wash.
Okay, Mom. That's for you, dear. Thought you might like it.
Oh, like it? Oh, I'm crazy about it.
That's some Bertha's garden. One of Hitler's own personal bodyguards wore it.
I'll plant some philodendron in it.
Oh, no, you don't. This is for you, Mom.
For me?
Look inside of it.
Real handmade lace. Oh, it's lovely.
It's from Brussels.
From Brussels.
That's in Belgium, Mom.
The old hometown is going to look pretty small after all the places you've been, but you'll get used to it.
Look, it could be the smallest town in the world, but it's my home and I like it.
The civilian suit, the tweeds Jim dreamed about during those years of service, well, they didn't fit Jim anymore. The house didn't fit either. There were so many things that Jim and America needed after the war. How about the safety shoes? They still look all right. They'll come in mighty handy on the job. The job. The important job of making steel for a greater America. 1 in 4 in United States Steel is a returned veteran.
All right, Mr. Robbins. Will you step in here, please?
Thank you.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, Monty.
Have a seat, won't you?
Thank you.
Place looking any different to you?
Good, not different.
I understand you're interested in some night school courses. Anything particular?
No, nothing in particular.
In that case, I believe I would study the list of available courses. I'm sure you'll find what you want. Make up your mind, we'll start from there.
Right, good.
How's the folks?
Oh, fine. Of course, we're a little crowded, 4 people in one house, but we'll make out.
The employee training program began long before the war. The students are steel workers of all ages, improving themselves in the skills of making steel, preparing for better jobs at better pay. United States Steel was ready for the returning veteran with intensified classroom and on-the-job training. A special program for disabled veterans helped many of them acquire advanced skills and earn more than they did in their pre-war jobs. Everywhere across the entire nation, you find the expanding answer to the challenge of peace. The business of building America is the biggest business in the world, and it will go on always. Returning men like Jim found their place again in the industrial family that serves the nation.
Hiya, fellas. Jim, you old son of a gun, you. How are you, fella? Swell to have you back, Jim.
It's swell to be back.
Hi, Jim.
Hi, Ed. Say, when did you get out?
About a month ago. Navy always was pretty sharp, you know.
Oh, sure.
That's for sure. Hey, fellas, didn't you know we had an army, too? No kidding. You know, we heard rumors about that in the Air Force. Had no proof.
You said it, Johnny.
Guess it was better than walking.
Or swimming.
Welcome back, Jim.
Frankly, sure, I'm glad to see you.
I enjoyed the letters, especially that one from Paris.
I bet you never saw anything like Paris in the Navy.
Yeah? Ever been to the South Seas?
Oh.
Jim is a guide setter. Red-hot billets from the furnace pass through a series of roughing stands, where the billet is continually reduced in thickness until it becomes a red-hot rod of metal. Further reduced in thickness, it passes round and round the looping floors through guide after guide and finally shoots like a javelin to the hotbeds and delivery tables. It requires a skilled, integrated crew to perform the operation successfully. From the delivery tables, the bars pass on to the shearman, who cuts them to required lengths. The men at the receiving tables tie and ticket them for shipment. In carload after carload, they join the products of other mills and head for steel users everywhere. Different products call for entirely different sets of guides.
625, right, Jim?
Right, 5/8.
You remember how, don't you?
Been setting those guides in my sleep for the past 4 years.
Various sizes for automobile springs and typewriter keys, for silo bands and concrete reinforcing bars. As the red-hot steel shoots through the guides, Jim sees in the glow the part it will play in building America. Jim Robbins is typical of the thousands of veterans in United States Steel. With all of them coast to coast from mine to mill, the order of the day is full speed ahead. And the new construction program proceeds simultaneously with all high peacetime production. The Robina mine, 80 miles up the Monongahela River from Pittsburgh, is an example. Open since the war, it's the most modern coal mine in the world. But more important, it's designed to be the safest coal mine in the world. A system of locomotives and conveyor belts speeds the coal at the rate of 50 tons a minute, all the while the work continues on the new coal washers. Coal, processed to coke, becomes one of the basic ingredients in the making of steel. In Clairton, Pennsylvania, the quenching cars roll the incandescent mass hour after hour from the coke ovens as construction crews make way for new coke ovens. In Gary, Indiana, the quenching towers drench the carloads of coke hour after hour as construction forges ahead. Coke joins with limestone and iron ore in towering blast furnaces. Regularly, the molten metal flows into giant ladles. But just as regularly at Chicago, Illinois, work progresses on the new modern blast furnaces. There are 2 new ones there. They're just part of the $775 million construction and modernization program begun since VJ Day. That's a lot of money in anybody's language. Where does it come from? 228,000 stockholders of United States Steel have invested with faith in the future of America. They make possible through their savings the plants and equipment. And with management and employees, they make up the productive team that serves you, the public. They are your next-door neighbor, your grocer, your doctor, your local hospital, the company behind your insurance policy, the college where you send your son or daughter. They are all walks of life and all America. They each hold an average of about 50 shares. To them and to all America, the challenge of peace held no promise of easy victory. Up and down and across the land, as the men came home to the challenge of peace, new mills were being built right beside those in operation. In Vandergrift, Pennsylvania, for example, you find new facilities for the increased production of silicon steel, specially alloyed and processed steel to increase efficiency of electric motors and transformers. In the Irvin Works near Pittsburgh, you find construction of new facilities side by side with production of sheet steel for your automobiles, refrigerators, washing machines, stoves, and the cans on your grocer's shelves. America demands billions of them a year. Tin cans are actually steel cans, 98% steel and 2% tin. In Gary, Indiana, there is further increase in steel sheet and tin plate capacity. And production rolls along while the crews install the new machinery. As sections of the new mill are finished, they're immediately put into and increased production. Birmingham, Alabama is known as the Magic City. The wonder there in the Fairfield Works is the same you find north, south, east, and west. You find again the story of production and construction side by side. You find them converting a hot rolling mill to a cold reduction mill, improving the quality of steel for new and better peacetime products. Progress anywhere in America is good news for all of us. And so United States Steel proudly plays its part in the amazing industrial development of the Far West. In Geneva, Utah, it has purchased the plant it designed, built, and operated for during the war. The wartime production of plate for ships has given way to the production of hundreds of thousands of tons of steel for peacetime uses in the Far West. In Pittsburgh, and this one is in California, there's a brand new mill. It's a cold reduction mill designed to keep pace with the rapid tempo of the Pacific Coast. Steel products can speed through these new machines at the rate of 35 miles an hour. More than 300,000 tons of tin plate and sheet steel every year. This brand new mill provides a major source of supply for Western agriculture and industry. There's another one scheduled in Los Angeles. Now, as always, United States Steel maintains a fair and equitable policy of distribution. Buyers of tonnage lots order direct from the producing companies. Others rely on warehouses. United States Steel has built a new one in St. Louis. 3 more are opening in Cleveland, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. Throughout the land, men are building and rebuilding the strong America so essential to world recovery. And wherever you go, you will find them using steel in the foundation and framework. Steel sinews for commerce, industry, and transportation. Massive girders for large construction projects, and smaller items for family dwellings, which brings us back closer to home and Jim.
Gosh, honey, I get as big a kick out of daydreaming as you, but this, jeepers.
You said the same thing before we got the apartment and the car. We got them.
I know, and I'm crazy about them. Sometimes I'm so proud of you, I just can't stand it.
Look, you just stay behind me and keep pushing. We'll get there.
Do you know something?
What?
The way you just said that, I've got a hunch we will.
You bet we will. We won't buy it. We'll build it.
Someday.
Someday. For young and restless America, that means the determination to make way for tomorrow. And that same philosophy is behind the development program of United States Steel. It is the reason for construction side by side with all high peacetime production. America is demanding more of everything it needs, and production is being stepped up to meet these demands. They have added new machines in Joliet, Illinois, although the largest nail manufacturing operation in the world is already there. Seamless steel pipe, a vital artery of the nation. It carries gas, oil, and water. It drills wells. It carries the fuel for automobiles, airplanes, and ships. America wants more. And in Lorain, Ohio, surveyors, engineers with their blueprints, mechanics, welders with their glaring torches, construction crews are in and out and everywhere. Engineers show you a brand new plant in Waukegan, Illinois. It's a miracle of planning for production, a miracle resulting from years of know-how in keeping abreast of technological developments. The cranes with electric eyes, the ovens you can walk under with perfect safety to make repairs. They are examples of the tomorrow that is here today. But the engineers are already restless to improve the job. The record of United States Steel is everywhere to see, and it starts with the very sources of steel. In Minnesota, old mines have become new mines because scientists dare to dream new metallurgical uses for all grades of ore. In its laboratories everywhere, like this new one in Duluth, the industrial family that serves the nation is prologuing a potent future. Another plant, another product, another dream. The business of building America is the biggest business in the world, and it is always unfinished business. In America, men can look at a hole in the ground and see a building, a factory, a finished product. They believe in the someday. They understand the expanding capacity of dreams. The sky is the limit in America. For you, and for me, and for Jim.
Of course it was Jam Handy. What were we thinking? Yeah. Things are looking good for Jim and his family. Thank you, United States Steel, and the industrial family that you have. This next film is more dealing with occupational therapy with soldiers and trying to get them back into normal life, dealing with some of the either physical, mental, or emotional injuries they received in battle. So here's Prescription OT. Enjoy.
Occupational therapy means different things to different people. To the psychiatrist, it is a means of keeping the patient in contact with reality by providing outlets for self-expression and socialization. To the neurologist, it is a way of helping a patient with a cerebrovascular accident to dress, eat, or shave, or a multiple sclerosis patient to coordinate. To the cardiologist or tuberculosis specialist, it's an evaluation of the amount of work a patient can do, graded to the patient's classification. The ophthalmologist sees OT as instruction in Braille, the use of a cane or a craft activity to teach kinesthetic awareness. The orthopedic surgeon also has an interest in occupational therapy because his patients receive treatment for injured muscles and joints. To the internist, occupational therapy provides the patient with activity that benefits him psychologically as well as physically. And most important of all, to the patient, occupational therapy means being treated by a therapist who is a member of a team of specialists who are there to help him. All therapies in this department are prescribed by a physiatrist, a specialist in physical medicine and rehabilitation, in answer to your consultation request. One copy of his examination and prescription is included in the ward chart, while therapy order sheets provide prescriptions for each individual therapy needed. As part of the rehabilitation team, the occupational therapist receives a prescription for each patient assigned, reports back to the doctor through progress notes or verbal communications as necessary. One purpose of psychiatric occupational therapy is to help the patient regain self-esteem through satisfying accomplishments and self-expression. Wedging clay, in this instance, provides a socially acceptable means of releasing hostility or letting out pent-up energy. Depending on the amount of release necessary, the therapist grades activity by increasing or decreasing 1, force of motion, 2, range of motion, and 3, amount of supervision. Activities such as weaving and wedging clay would thereby channel destructive impulses into constructive performance. The center patient is using force and an essentially destructive activity in stamping a belt. He is unable to socialize and his attention is strongly fixed on his project. Working on copper foil can be useful to a neurotic patient with inadequacy. The therapist is constantly available for reassurance to gratify his need for dependency. Knotting also fills this need. Through a variety of experiences, the patient is gradually encouraged to select activities and go ahead on his own. For diagnostic purposes, the psychiatrist may desire the occupational therapist to help the patient release fantasy. Finger painting is used as release for the regressed patient since it helps him act out his childhood needs in a socially acceptable manner. This patient has a vague self-concept and is selecting his activities. We must be aware of his level of integration. In this group, the patient working at the right, forming a small clay bowl, is unable to socialize. He is preoccupied with delusions and somatic complaints that interfere with his work capacity and his ability to concentrate. When he begins to feel at ease with others, he will become part of the group. As he improves and his self-concept becomes more focused, he will begin to construct objects which correspond to that reality. He will make objects or drawings of men and bodies, or he may show himself or his image of self as he would like it to be. The psychiatrist may request that occupational therapy provide a situation which encourages masculine identification. This patient is encouraged in activity which in our culture is identified with manliness. As he improves, the patient is expected to assume responsibility for promptness in arriving, tool care, and cleanup. The last step in getting well is being able to socialize. The occupational therapy clinic provides a relaxed, permissive atmosphere where the therapist can help the patient enter into conversation and enjoy himself with other people. The patient is encouraged to talk as he is working or during a pause for relaxation. An added responsibility is that of teaching another patient. This gives him the feeling of being a valuable member of his group. Through her knowledge of dynamic psychology and her ability to adapt therapeutic activities to patients' needs, the occupational therapist can provide situations which speed the rehabilitation of the mentally ill. The kinetic prescription is essentially a physical prescription to increase the patient's physical capacities or to help the patient use his present capacities in a functional manner. Treatment begins on the ward while the patient is still bedridden. The purpose here is to train the patient to be independent, to be able to feed himself or dress himself. These basic self-care activities are known as ADL, activities of daily living. Often, the therapist's first contact with a tetraplegic patient is through gadgets that enable him to smoke, to hold his cigarette, or to light it. This helps the patient over the first hurdle after that long spell of inactivity to the point where he starts doing something. The therapist's job is to help the patient become independent by adapting his environment through the uses of such aids as rings, cuffs, and slings. When the patient is able to leave the ward, he receives more intensive treatment in the occupational therapy clinic. After further testing in the ADLs, he practices these skills using aids as necessary. Communication is also emphasized. A patient is taught to use his unaffected extremity to write, and a more severely handicapped patient uses a mouth stick to operate an electric typewriter. Another phase of physical rehabilitation has as its goal an increase in the patient's muscle strength and range of joint motion. The prescription for this arthritic to increase range of motion of his upper extremities. A table loom is used to encourage this patient to use the affected extremity he is afraid of using. Here, a sling is used to eliminate the effect of gravity, since this patient has weak shoulder muscles and cannot lift his arm against the force of gravity. This patient had an intertrochanteric fracture and is exercising his hip flexors on the bicycle jigsaw. As his range of motion increases, the seat will be lowered to allow for maximum range. This patient with a left shoulder bursitis is weaving on a floor loom to increase range of shoulder flexors and abductors. The floor printing press is used for this patient with peripheral neuropathy and weak legs. It helps him obtain strength, balance, and coordination. The motions being used duplicate those used in ambulation training. Here are a group of patients around a table engaged in activities requiring various degrees of strength of intrinsic hand muscles. The last type of kinetic prescription is the one for coordination and dexterity. This might be prescribed for a multiple sclerosis patient working on this TV lamp. Or for this quadriplegic patient seeking increased coordination by arranging and gluing matchsticks into a design on a box. Or for this patient with a median nerve injury working with the aid of an opponent's splint following temporary loss of opponent's function. The metric prescription is used so that the therapist will evaluate and increase work tolerance as affected by a rise in either metabolism or cardiac output. A patient under this prescription gradually increases work capacity within his limitations. Cardiac and tuberculosis classifications are used as guides for activity. This patient is using hand, wrist, and slight forearm motion to construct a rosary. All activities are graded according to the motions involved, the time consumed, the amount of energy required, the size of the project, and the necessary tools and materials. It is important to realize that the activities used for metric purposes can be meaningful in terms of planning for the future in case the patient must change his occupation. The next patient with myocardial infarction is restricted to light hand and wrist motion. Since psychological tension can be more harmful and more energy-consuming than mild controlled activity, the therapist explains to the patient that the activity has been given so that he can adjust to bed rest. The therapist takes this patient's pulse before and after activity to control the amount of energy expenditure. The chronically ill patient with heart disease has a different problem. Occupational therapy serves not to increase work tolerance, but to teach the patient to use what capacity he has to best advantage. He learns to utilize conservation principles in the same way that time motion studies are used to raise efficiency in industry. One of the most important byproducts in this area is the realization by the patient through graded activity that rheumatic fever, myocardial infarction, or tuberculosis does not necessarily mean invalidism. He learns that he can work up to a full day, he can produce, and he can measure up to the requirements of a job. Tonic occupational therapy may be prescribed for any patient who needs psychological as distinguished from psychiatric or physical treatment. This patient, who has been in a plaster spica for several months, is overcoming the restlessness that's usually part of a long period of hospitalization. The therapist helps him to transfer his attention from himself and to divert him from his pain and discomfort. When this patient with peripheral vascular disease was scheduled for amputation of his remaining leg, he received OT to help diminish his fear and apprehension. Although he may not yet get out of bed, his recovery is hastened by the positive effects of early post-operative activity. Incidentally, this patient who is participating in activity has been reported to ask less often for sedation. Working with other patients helps this plastic surgery patient avoid self-consciousness about his appearance. Through his work, he receives constructive attention from others in the room. This patient has a peptic ulcer. He tends to be tense and restless, and it is difficult for him to maintain the complete bed rest schedule that has been prescribed for him. An absorbing activity gives him an outlet for his tension. Through occupational therapy, he can learn a new rhythm of work habits and can organize his activities more efficiently. The chronically ill patient may be lethargic and listless. Languishing in bed only contributes to his feeling of uselessness and his generally unhealthy mental state. Productive activity often helps him out of this state of mind and gives him something concrete to show for his period of hospitalization, a project which he can later present to someone at home. When the patient can come to the occupational therapy clinic, he broadens his field of activity. These patients are adjusting to hospitalization and can accept more easily the disabilities which are not medically curable. Many of them are developing hobbies or learning skills which may later be used as avocations or as means to augment their pensions. The question often arises, can the patient return to the job he had before his illness or injury? Exploratory OT helps answer this question by skillfully assessing his abilities and potentialities. Here, the occupational therapist and the counseling psychologist discuss a patient and his work habits, abilities, and skills. The occupational therapist works together with or complements the counseling psychologist in determining a patient's abilities in a functional situation as contrasted to the testing and interview climate of vocational counseling. The physician can refer a patient to both when he feels that counseling also is desired. Printing can test many skills: work tolerance, hand-eye coordination, comprehension of verbal instructions, written instructions, ability to work for long periods of time, ability to work quickly and with precision. The objective in the treatment of this blind patient is to return him to assembly line work. He works at projects which require the repetitive processes to which he can adapt easily. Here he's using a miter box. He has learned to measure and cut his materials quickly and accurately. Rosary construction can indicate to the trained observer what a patient can do on projects requiring assembly line techniques. The patient's use of one small tool, the chain pliers, will reveal his work habits, his dexterity, and precision manipulation. Leather work involves the use of many types of tools, the judgment of creativity, and the ability to design and pattern work. It should be remembered that under the exploratory prescription, the occupational therapist evaluates the patient's capacities. The therapist does not counsel, train, or provide placement. The services of the therapist can be used in conjunction with these other phases or for an evaluation after one of the other prescriptions. The most efficient use of the occupational therapist is in applying the therapist's special ability to the needs of the individual patient. In summary, occupational therapy is an integral part of the specialty of physical medicine and rehabilitation. Upon receipt of a consultation request from the ward physician, the physiatrist prescribes occupational therapy. He may prescribe one or all of the therapies to meet the reason for the referral. Working as part of the rehabilitation team, occupational therapy has these 5 purposes: to restore physical strength and function, to provide psychological outlets during long hospitalization, to provide reality situations and to encourage resocialization for the mentally ill, to evaluate and increase work tolerance, and to conduct vocational evaluation. Whatever may have been the doctor's purpose for requesting occupational therapy, medical guidance and free communication between the doctor and the therapist are important so that they can constantly increase their effectiveness and together serve the patient in the best possible manner. The common goal is to help each patient attain the utmost of his capacity. This is good medicine. It is a story that is repeated over and over again. Occupational therapy serves as a bridge, helping to lead a hospitalized patient back to a normal life with his friends and his family. This translates into the language of everyday living.
So, yeah, actually occupational therapy, I think is helpful even in a very simplistic way. Like, for example, if I spend all day on a screen doing whatever, scanning films or doing emails or spreadsheet work or whatever, sometimes I get really agitated. And if I go and just go to our kitchen table where we have a puzzle and I just spend a little bit of time with the puzzle, the kind of physical aspect of, picking up and looking and, shifting the piece, and it helps. It really does. So I gotta say, there's value in that, even beyond the idea of like, oh, well, we're training them, we're getting them back to where they can work for a living, and have value to society. Well, there is a value also to the individual feeling like they can support themselves, and that's super important as well. So anyhow, everybody have a great rest of your Veterans Day. Reach out to your family and friends who served and tell them you appreciate what they did, and vote for people who support veterans in need. That's all I'm going to say on that. I'll be back tomorrow. I will probably be sicker, but I'm going to go buy some cold medicine and might sleep the rest of the day. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up, hit the like button. You can donate via the super thanks button or via ko-fi.com/avgeeks or patreon.com/avgeeks. Those are great ways to support us. You guys take care, and we will see you tomorrow.